in Southern California. It's been a fun and interesting weekend. Been doing a lot of shows, and we have another great one. We are welcoming back the Section 8 Motorcycle Club. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having
All
Thanks
us.
for having
right.
us.
And we're going to run this back.
Let's go.
We had a really good podcast about 2 weeks ago, but we did have some issues with our audio. The environment was really, really cool. And we had a really great vibe, had a fantastic discussion. But I wanted to come back to the table so that we can sit down in a little quieter environment and really talk about what you guys, bring to the community and your organization and the nonprofit that we were talking about last time, Team Only Stronger. Because I really enjoyed the discussion, and I feel like it would be important for us to get the message out, right, and but more in a quieter environment so that we can allow the listeners, the people who will tune into this, to really be able to take in what we talk about. So before we
Absolutely.
get started, we're just going to go around, let you introduce yourself. We'll go around the table.
Yes. First off, thank you for another opportunity to be heard. My name is Izzy Mabalit, with the Section 8 MC Mainland. I'm a treasurer, and I'm also Chief Operations Officer for I Am Stronger. And I'm just here to be a conduit for two entities that's really dear to my heart. So um, I'm a father of four, veteran, business owner, and really at the end of the day, it's the legacy now. So for the next generation, and yeah, my name is Izzy, and
Yeah, I appreciate that, Izzy. And you're right. This is kind of what we do. It's not about us, right? It's about what we can do for the community and what we can do for our children. Yeah, my
Yeah,
friend.
and I want to say just again, thank you again for having us back and to be able to really be heard, to be heard again. And so it means a lot
Absolutely.
to have even been there the first time, and to know that you'll allow us to come back, to allow us to really have get our message across even more. Just thank you so much.
Absolutely.
My name is Gary Mabalit. I'm Izzy's cousin. I'm also the president of Team Only Stronger, which is the nonprofit organization here, created here in San Diego to raise awareness for child sexual abuse and to support its victims through raising awareness and collaboration with the community.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, first of all, it's an honor for me to be able to get you guys back on the show. And really, what I like to do is be able to, educate myself about, all the amazing organizations in the area where I live. But it's also an opportunity for you guys to be able to come and talk about what you do. And that way, the people who are listening to the show know that there's amazing people out in our community doing some really incredible work. So it's really an honor for me to have you guys back. I just want you guys to know that, first and foremost, because when we met the first time, I was really excited after we did the interview. I was just like, man, that was just really, really great. And I had told Puna, we had talked about it after. I was like, man, I was really surprised just how well it went. And then, going back and listening to the audio, I was like thinking about how I was going to call her, because I really wanted to get with you guys again and be able to talk some more. So it's really an honor for me to be able to come back to the table. Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
My man, go ahead and introduce
Well,
yourself.
I'll be the third to thank you for having us back again. We had a great time the first time. But my name's Zeke. I'm the secretary. I'm one of the road captains for Section 8 MC SoCal Mainland. And I'm just happy to be here and be a part of something like bigger than myself. Not just the club, but the PSR, and with everything that we have going on. It's just really cool to be able to share what we have going on, share what we built, share what we're striving to build, and just having a family to do it with. And so thanks again.
Yeah, 100%. And we are here to promote the PSR, the Pacific Sovereignty Run, which is taking place on Saturday, June 17th, 2023, the Elks Lodge, 7212 Melrose Street, Buena Park, California. This is taking place 6 days from now, right? So 6 days from now, there's going to be a bike blessing, starts at 11 a.m. The public event kicks off at 12 noon, goes to 5 p.m. There's all kinds of great things going on. And we can talk about that more. And I want to get into your participation with PSR. But before we get to that, let's talk about your motorcycle club. Can you tell us a little bit about the history, how it got started, and who were the people involved in getting this motorcycle club off the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, I can start that. It started about actually 10 years ago as of a few as of last month in Eva Beach in Hawaii. It started in Section 8 housing. Orlando Pastor is our national pres. He's our founder. He started out with some family and friends back home. And the whole thing kind of started off as a tribute to his son. His son was sick, and this was kind of a way to kind of have people come together and celebrate life, as well as raise funds and just to support the families in the community that really need it. It actually started off as a sport bike club back then before it turned into the cruisers, and then now, although it started in humble beginnings, we like to say, we try to like use the bikes and use the camaraderie and use the fellowship to uplift people that that we see every day, people that are around us every day, the people that we encounter, people we cross in the street. We try to be a light and a beacon for people to for hope, for encouragement, for anything that they may need that day. If it's a smile, a hug, a say what's up, a handshake, whatever it is, we try to be that for everyone. And that's that mentality that Orlando really instilled in the club. And here in SoCal, I think we're about a year and a half old now. We started in October of, I believe that was 2021. Yeah, 2021.
2021.
So we're trying to uphold that legacy and keep it going strong. So
Man, that's fantastic. I mean, obviously, a lot goes into starting a motorcycle club, but 10 years in, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. A lot of motorcycle clubs don't last 5, right? And it's really hard to start an MC and keep it going for all those years. So why do you think Section 8 has been able to be so successful and has been able to continue to carry on this mission that you guys started?
It's because the values, the tradition that we have really is our family values. Family values that in service of, especially with others, service in others, service of with our family, and of course including community and just really of each other. And that's how we keep our tight bond together, as being in solidarity, stage at all times, and really that's makes us stronger as a club, stronger as a family, stronger and move as a unit, is that family values that we instill, that at any given time we're there. So I think that's one of our biggest
It's definitely based on our foundation, right? We like to say that it's God, family, the club, in that order, right? And so without God and family in our lives, like you said, most clubs don't last. But maybe it's because we have those two values that sit in the forefront. That's why the club has been so successful, and that's why we've been able to uphold the things that we do and kind of keep moving forward, like, and not just focusing too much on the motorcycles themselves, but kind of what allows us to focus on that, what things that come into our lives that allow us to come together. So
yeah, it's just really not wasting your time. Everything you do now, especially when you get older, is how do you invest your time?
That's a good point.
How do you invest your time with your purpose? How do you align your purpose with your loyalty? Because it all leads to what everybody believes in, whatever support. So it's really what you can do to make a difference and make an impact. And that's really our main missions and goals,
Yeah.
to whatever we want to accomplish in the future, our next generation, our lineage, or whatever it is you call it. Is just keep it as tight as possibly we can with those values.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just sitting at the table with y'all, I don't know your organization very well, but I could tell you all are very passionate about what you do, and you guys are very committed. So, in terms of a member that you're looking at who's possibly going to be, potentially coming into the organization, what are you guys looking for in members?
I mean, really, it is. So one of the biggest things that we like to we hold ourselves accountable to is that our families are really involved in our club, right? It's
Nice.
wives, kids, everyone. Whenever we have functions, or you want to call it a club function, families are always invited. Families, friends. So for new members coming in, it's not so much. It doesn't matter what bike you ride. Well, for us right now, it's got to be a cruiser. But it's not so much what mods you have on your bike. It's not how much money you make. It's not what you've done before. It's who you are as a person, right? We really evaluate people on who they are and how well they're going to mesh with not just the other club members, not just the officers, not just the founders, but with our families as well, right? We want to make sure that our kids are always safe and comfortable. We want to make sure our wives are always safe and comfortable. So if we're pretty much open arms to anyone, like we've talked about before, but it's really that it's such a key factor that really has to be there, and that bond and that mesh has to be created in order for people to really vibe with us, I guess you can say, and mesh with
Yeah.
us. So it's like it's not just whether or not me and Iz like them or not. It's our wives have to also like them. Our kids have to like them. So
it's just a firm belief that no one's perfect and life is not perfect. So really, it's what's the gap between that to be able to have like what you call balance in life.
Yeah.
Especially with, I'm not gonna just say man. It's just that the mental state has to be
Yeah.
aligned to really to make a difference in your life, and that's what we look for. Is like we don't judge, we just help as much as we can, and for whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be like, oh, you want to be a member, you need help and this and that. You can just reach out, and it's up to you if you want to do it or not. But then at the same time, is what we look for here is that family values, and really what you can do for yourself, for your family, and last us as a club for the future.
Yeah.
We're not really too concerned with what your past may have looked like, how colorful or how dirty it may have been. It's really
Yeah.
just as long as you carry those values and morals that we follow and that we pride ourselves behind, then that's really what we base it off of.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, misunderstandings about motorcycle clubs, right? And how they function and the types of members that they have. And what I always tell people is like there's just some incredible people who run these organizations, and they're really important because you have, maybe people who've had a colorful background, like you said, but we have these organizations where they can do really positive things in their communities. And I think
Absolutely.
that what you guys are offering to your members is a chance to help, is a chance to grow, is a chance to to be a part of a family that is really strong, that has a really positive mission, and it's out there making a difference.
Yes, and
Exactly.
also is really emphasizing on how to create a space for trust.
Yes,
We always
absolutely.
embrace at any given time vulnerability, because it all leads to strength. So you can't show strength and you have a buildup of pain and anger and whatever it is that you've been holding to for numbers of
Yeah.
years, maybe, and
Yeah.
we try to not go way deep into that, but focus on healing and what you need. And it's okay to reach out. It's okay to show pain. It's okay to talk, because that's where you build the trust.
Yeah.
So we go on from there. It's like, what do we build now? Since you trust us, what do you want to create? You want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, and that
so
was a big, I think that's what I got from our last discussion. It just seems like you guys are really interested in putting yourselves out there so that, hey, like if you want to come and join us and get some good blessings, right? And be around good people who are willing to listen and to talk about maybe things you wouldn't be able to talk about with others. You guys are open to that. And you guys do meet. Is it weekly that you have monthly
Yeah,
meetings? Yeah.
every Saturdays at 9:30. Well, the start time is usually fluctuates depending on what time people get there, but it's every Saturday at the rooftop at Coronado Beach, Harley Davidson. Yeah, it's just a space for people to come and you know really be present. Really is
Yeah.
what it is. We don't ask people for anything. We don't expect anything of you if you go. It's there for you, right? So you get what you want to get out of it. Like we talked about last time, it's just been a space for people to kind of let their guard down, break down those walls a little bit, and maybe share some things that they weren't comfortable sharing in any other setting before.
it's no egos, no pride.
Man, I
Just
love that.
this authenticity of, like what is your purpose really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that because, there's I think there's a stigma that's attached to, being too open, right, about your issues that you have or talking about maybe your problems, especially for men, right? Especially for men. And I think that, men have a a lot of pent up frustrations and feelings and trauma, whatever it is, things that have happened in their life, but we don't have really healthy outlets for us to be able to talk to other people, and sometimes that results in maybe abusing ourselves with alcohol, drugs, or what have you. And I feel that way about like the MC community, that, and I know they're, we like to have a good time, we like to have fun, but I feel like the brotherhood and the fellowship that you get from it is really healing. It is really healing, not to make it just about that, because obviously there's a lot of components to being in an MC, but I think that it's very constructive for a lot of people, and they need this type of brotherhood and fellowship. And when people always ask me, well, what do you get out of this? And I'm like, man, I get a lot. I get friendship, brotherhoods, people I can call on if I'm having a hard time. I can call a brother and be like, hey man, I'm having a rough day, or if I need help. And growing my family, having a bigger family, it's really, I think it's very powerful experience that I think a lot of people just don't understand.
Yes, it's really like how to create a preventative measure for destruction.
Yes.
And once you create that destruction, is the hardest part is to fix it. But then at the same time, if you fix things, you dwell on it, and you get lost with the transition and the transformation that you're trying to reach again. So it's the preventative measures that we need to really focus on, and then to whatever the next process is.
Yeah, that's why we really try to push those Saturday meets. A lot of people get turned off because we do stage them or pitch them as it's a Bible study. That's what we
Yeah.
do. It's how we share it as. Not everyone is super into that, or whether the way they grew up or maybe a past experience. But I'm gonna steal something from one of our buddies. Donnie says, "Speedback preacher" on Instagram. We had a meeting, and one guy said, he's I'm just really not that into God, and I just wanted to come check this out. And he, out of nowhere, comes out of left field and goes, "It's okay, because he's really into you." And I'm like, and then we were all kind of taken aback. And we're like, dang, that's good, because that's
Yeah.
really what it is, right? It's not, you don't have to be a particular religion. You don't have to believe a certain thing to be there. It's really just a community. As long as you're okay with us kind of speaking on how we want to speak on it, and just having that floor for you to open up and like letting us pray for you. If as long as you're open up to that, then, like I said, everyone's welcome.
Yeah, I really like that. The fact that anybody can come no matter what they feel about their connection to a higher power.
Mhm.
Maybe some people may feel a little more connected, or may be a bigger part of their lives. Or maybe some people it's not a big part of their lives, but still you're welcoming to, people from whatever stage they are in that process.
Yes, because whether you're religious or not, you get over there and you come back with life experiences that you went through or you're going through, and 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 we're just there to really listen. We want you to be heard. We want you to be able to really trust
Yeah.
at the end of the
Exactly.
day
Yeah,
at any given
if
time.
people don't know how to pray for themselves, or they don't want to
Yeah.
pray for themselves, well, maybe let us do it for
Yeah.
you.
Man,
Yeah,
see
you
that's
could you could do your own manifestation on your own without your religion, because it's at the end of the day, that's your belief. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not gonna knock you down because you don't believe in God, or you don't
Yeah.
believe in, what I mean, or whatever it is that you believe in. It's really no judgment on our side. It's like how we're gonna get to where you want to get to with our
Yeah.
hands, or
Well,
with our helping
something,
hands.
yeah, something I get from all three of you in your organization, the way that you talk about it, is that you guys are willing to freely express love and compassion for others. And I feel like that's always what I tell people when people ask me, well, what does the world really need? And I'm like, it needs more love, and it needs more compassion. And it has a lot of anger and a lot of trauma, all the things that maybe kind of keep us out of balance. But we need people who are, willing to put themselves out there, and willing to be giving and loving, about community and family. Those are all those values that we really need today, especially in the crazy world that we live in.
Oh,
Do
yes.
y'all agree?
Yes, because really at
Absolutely.
the end of the day, too, is like what's going on now, or even before, is what's the resistance? It's all about resistance of like, I'm just gonna stay quiet because if I resist this and that, I'm gonna say it if I resist. It's all lead to fear. It all leads to how do you respect yourself as a man, as a woman, if you just didn't stay quiet? You know, so
Yeah.
And I'm trying to add something in. So
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
from a position of a person who's broken, right? And again, we don't talk about this a lot. Like a lot of us are broken out there, and when I say broken,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, un unable or just not in a place where we realize that we're not open to going to maybe Bible studies or going to social events where people are offering their help and are offering their solidarity and to be there with you. And my experience of Section 8, for example, is that everything they say, they're genuine, and they're authentic, and they're really about it. Everything they say they do it, and they're really that. And so for me, when I was first getting introduced to the club, and how they wanted to help, it was just, for me, it was a shock, because as I mentioned on the last one, my daughter was a victim of over 15 counts of child sexual abuse. And in that moment, those first 2 years, as a father, for that to happen to my child, my daughter, I was lost, right? I didn't know who to trust. My trust for anyone kind of went out the window. And it wasn't until I had a cousin, Izzy, who was able to see that in me, to kind of take me under his wing and to kind of help me rebuild that trust in people. And every person he introduced me to had carried themselves the same way, had the same exact thing. And so every member of Section 8 so far has just been so supportive and genuine. And I never really get a chance to thank them as much. So thank you guys for really, it saved
Yeah.
my life, and I truly believe it's made a big impact on my daughter. And I know that because of the group of people here, we're only gonna get stronger, right?
Yeah.
We're only gonna be able to bless more and do more and make a bigger impact. So
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, because that's kind of what I felt. And I didn't know when I was going to do the interviews, I really didn't know what to expect, because I didn't know much about your club, or really any of the clubs except for the one that I'm a part of. And so, it was just really powerful just to hear y'all talk. And you could tell that, he'd mentioned, that the club is very genuine. And that's what I got, is that you guys are very genuine. You guys are very serious about your mission. And yeah, I was just really impressed. And I was really excited after I talked to you guys, to know that you're out there doing the work that you're doing.
thank you so much. It's just we just really try to maximize and our time. Every day is different. Every day is like, what can you create to make an impact? What you're gonna create for you first. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you know what I mean? You want to pray, you don't want to pray, what kind of environment you want to create, and on top of that is you got to add your purpose in each day, right?
That's right.
And you got to accomplish something in each mission, right?
Yeah.
So it just become I mean, our family and unit is just function that way, has to function like that all the time to be able to last what we created.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just the stigma of being silenced, and just involving the right people,
Yeah.
involving the right people, because if you don't, you got a partner, you get a partner, and you're involving the wrong people, it's just a waste of time.
Yep.
So really,
I agree.
it's the maximum potential that you could create using your time to make an impact, whether for yourself, your family, others, and
Yeah, it's a good
different
point.
walks of life.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Izzy, because I feel the same way about my life. I really want to spend my time that I have left here just giving back, being able to do things that are productive. And I feel like I don't want to be wasting my time doing things that aren't going to result in something positive. It doesn't have to necessarily be positive for me, but positive for other people in some way.
Yes, and I use that as my chase every day. No matter how good, no matter how bad I'm feeling that day, I have to put in
Yeah.
for my purpose.
Perfectly said.
None of
Yeah,
us have all the answers, right? None of us have the
That's right.
secrets to life, whatever it is, but we do our best to try to make sure we're on the right path.
Yeah, that's such a it's an important thing, because people always ask me, because I I have I've done some pretty good things with my life. I'm a college professor, and I've been able to make it through school and whatnot. And people are like, oh, oh, your life is so good. I'm like, no, my life is not. My life is like everybody else's. I have my ups and I have my downs. I just try my best each and every day. That's it. And that's really all we can do, no matter where you're at in life. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or if you're poor, you're a human being, and human beings have ups and downs. And we're never going to be doing things perfectly. We're never going to always do things the right way.
Yes, it's really what's gonna matter when it's your last day. Even though you
Yes.
don't know when it's your last day.
That's right.
That's why you gotta live every day as
That's right.
your last. No matter what it is, it all
Yeah.
leads to your purpose.
100%. Well, let's talk about Team Only Stronger. I want you to talk about the nonprofit, and you'd already touched upon it already, but can you kind of give us the backstory? I know it's pretty intense, but we'd like to hear, about the organization, how it got started, and just whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. So we formed the organization in 2021. Let's take it all the way back. In 2017, I found out that my daughter, who was 5 years old at the time, was a victim of over 15 counts of child sexual abuse and molestation, felony counts. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the first 2 years of realizing that and going through the court process of being able to kind of, get them in custody and all that, we were able to get justice sometime in 2018, a year after that. And I was at the time. I'm also a veteran of the United States Air Force, and so I was serving out my reserve years. I was working here. I just got a new job over here in San Diego. We moved back here from Arizona, and when everything happened, my life kind of felt what it felt like was my life kind of flipped upside down. Everything was going good for me. I had just graduated with my master's degree. Everything was looking up. I was looking at different businesses. I was winning in my mind, right? But when everything happened, when I say it flipped upside down, it flipped upside down. I didn't see any of the winning. All I saw was everything that I wasn't doing to be there for my daughter, to be able to prevent it from happening. So immediately I just felt this immense pressure and failure as a father, going back, not seeing anything good, but seeing all the times that maybe if I had known about how prevalent this is, or if I had known the signs, or if I had just been more open to realizing that, something could have been happening, I could have prevented that. And so I spent the next couple of years kind of just going through that in my mind, trying to numb that with alcohol, drugs, separation, disconnection from my friends, my family. And so I didn't really know what to do. Right. That was my thought process. All right, everything is fake. Everything, this can't be real. Can't believe this happened. Who can I trust? And again, my cousin kind of helped lift me out of that. He got me on a little workout routine, and he was just speaking life into me again, and telling me that the world isn't that. The rest of the world isn't that. There are other people that care about you and can help you. And so we went on. We kept going back and forth in a conversation. I said, hey, cuz what if we we built an organization together that can help victims like my daughter, and help families like myself, of those victims, to kind of get through something like that, because you know how prevalent this is. 1 in every 9 girls are going to be sexually abused before 18. 1 in every 20 boys, right? And over 90% of the abusers are somebody that they know, right? It's less than 10% from a stranger. And so how can we create something, some sort of organization to help raise awareness for that? And he's like, all right, let's run it. Whatever it is, let's figure it out. And so this is it's a grassroots nonprofit, where that was founded on being able to just support kids like my daughter, to be able to really impact the prevalence of it, so that we can try to prevent it from happening. But more so inspire prevention by talking about it, right? Because there's a stigma that comes with it. So the topic itself right here, it's difficult to hear, let alone talk about.
Yeah, just to kind of add to what you're saying, first of all, the numbers are staggering, right? The statistics that you just mentioned are really disturbing. And then the fact that there's so much silence in regards to it. I mean, even us, having this discussion is very rare, right? But the discussions need to be had, because there's so much that people don't know. And I think, my regular job, when I'm not out on a motorcycle, I'm a sociologist, and I know a lot about sexual assault rates, and it's just, it really is unbelievable just how prevalent some of this stuff is. And sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's a friend, somebody that you think is a friend of the family. Like, it's just really, it's just kind of scary, right? And then after these things happen, immediately there's just silence about it, right? People don't want to talk about it. Or in some cases, people don't discuss it for years.
Mhm.
And I think that uh, us having this discussion is really powerful in the sense that we're able to talk about a topic that is really just heartbreaking. And my heart goes out to you, just hearing you talk about how you took it, being a father, and knowing that our job is to be there for our families. But the reality is that we don't know everything. We don't know every situation, and sometimes we're gone because we have to work, because we have to support our family, and we're not always in a situation we can oversee everything. And so there's so many other families out there that have had experiences like you, but you had Izzy, right, to help you
Right,
out,
right.
right? And so now the organization here is for others,
Mhm.
so that way you guys can do something and be a foundation for other people that you can also help. Is that correct?
That's correct. And really, again, when things happened, um, I didn't want to talk to anyone about it really either. One, because anyone that could offer their advice or help through it, in my mind, this is the way I was thinking. My mind is they're not gonna understand. They're not gonna understand, they're not gonna truly understand. They could say it, but they're not experiencing it, right? So I was just, that victim mentality that I had, right? You could say rightfully so or not, but that's just where I was kind of stuck. And so what we're hoping to try to do is just to let, you know, not to just offer advice, but to say, hey, it's not going to get easier. We're not going to paint a picture, but you will get stronger, right? And there are others out there, right? And there are people who, maybe if it hasn't happened, but there are good people out here willing to kind of step in and support you and whatever, even if it's just to share your story.
Yeah, and that's what it is the authenticity and the commitment of the support you have. This is this, if you support someone or something like this, it can be half step. You got to commit to whatever you need to do to be able to see whatever you're building as a success. And this time too, I'm gonna um, create a time to actually thank our president, the Kuya. His support is just overpouring every time, no matter what it is. And a good friend of mine, Dominic Cruz, um, introduced me to a really, really amazing entity in Vegas for emotional intelligence and leadership university, which is I'm also a graduate of that,
Nice.
and able to spread all those support and all those help and all those, call it therapy, healing, whatever it is, it's to the table that it's there, and you have an avenues to get there, and we're one of them. So yeah, I just want to thanks for thankful for those people and my brothers in Section 8 from Hawaii, Guam, um, Night Island, Seattle, and that's it. Yeah. So yeah, that support, man. It's one of the biggest thing that we push as well. Is support the right way.
Yeah. I mean, that obviously comes through in talking to you all. It just seems like that's a big part of what you all do, is being supportive of one another, being helpful in whatever way that you can. And like I said, going back to what we talked about earlier, obviously your organization has very good leadership, because to be able to do the work that you're doing isn't easy, first of all, right? In the way that you do it, because it's not just for you, it's not just about riding Harleys and just roaring around the city having a good time. You guys have a mission. You guys have a very specific mission, and you guys want to be in the community doing the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, it's just support and build. Build, because it's already almost the end of the year.
Yeah.
What else is there for next year?
Yep.
Especially this crazy world that we're heading to now. We don't know where it's gonna lead to. Um, and just move as a unit.
Just doing the best we
And
can.
yeah, and
Yeah.
kill whatever needs to be killed as far as stigma, as far as any
Yep.
destruction to our society.
I love that. I really do love that. So, what is the future of Team Only Stronger? I mean, obviously, you guys are doing amazing work. So, what is the future? What do you guys have planned, and how is Section 8 going to participate in that?
Like for us right now, since I'm the chief operations officer and the president, he has his own program that is working on to be able to link up whatever I'm working on my end, and just to be able to create more when it's ready to launch. So
Yeah, so I mean, right now, I mentioned it last time, we're working according to our capacity, right? And so we're a grassroots organization, eh, and so we're trying to plan a couple fundraisers, and really what those fundraisers are going to fund, right, are different initiatives that we have. The first initiative that we ever had was where we raise funds to donate toys to kids who have been impacted by child sexual abuse and trauma, and who will be taking the stand in court. And the reason why is, kids, when they take the stand, like for example, my daughter, is that they're able to take a couple of toys with them to help them be a little bit less anxious. But unfortunately, in these situations, a lot of times the toys that they have are from the abusers themselves. And so our thought process is like, let's give them brand new toys. And on these toys is going to have a QR code that links to a message from my daughter that she recorded on her own saying, "Hi, my name is Arian. You're not alone. You could do this. It doesn't get easier. You only get stronger. But, I've been through it too, and you're not alone. You could do this." And so it's going to fund things like that. My daughter is also an author and illustrator of a children's book that we just launched a couple months ago that was intention is to really take a difficult conversation to be able to empower children. So she wrote it, she drew it all. And so it's a way for parents, child care providers, teachers to allow students to have this conversation and talk about body awareness, what's inappropriate, what's not appropriate.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, and he's also establishing a solid partnership and connection with
yeah,
YMCA.
with YMCA as well.
One
you
safe
go.
place, and then on my end, what I'm trying to create is a 24/7, 365 safe haven for the community. And this is going to be focusing, since it's focusing on the children, I'm going to be focusing on the youth, teens, and adults that's been traumatized, have been victimized, is still new to it, and it's that never had a it's just been silent. So we're creating that program and actually partnering up with, well, as I mentioned, this Choice Center. It's a program for emotional intelligence and leadership, so you could create whatever you need to create to be able to go back to the society and be a be a change or be a help, and while they're helping themselves and helping others to be able to demonstrate on what process then they need to get through, because at the end of the day, vulnerability, trust, to be able to heal and get that strength and empower yourself and come back to the community as leaders, because that's one of my main goals too, is to create more leaders.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, it goes without saying that these things are powerful. This is powerful stuff, right? It's just things, and for Section 8, we want to make sure that we can get this message out to those who may not be used to reaching out and looking up nonprofits and looking up, these types of organizations. Sometimes these people are in the motorcycle community and they need this help. They need this outreach. And so what we try to do is try to bring Gary's message and his message out into those, the bike nights or like the rides or the poker nights or whatever it may be that we, involve ourselves in, and let people know that, hey, we have this thing that, you might be interested in. I know it's kind of hard and you may not have looked for it on your own, but these are all the things they can help you out with. So
Yeah. I mean, it's with people may not think this, but I feel like the motorcycle club community is perfect to help in this, because we all have families. We all have children. All of us, I think, want to see our kids. I mean, who doesn't want to see our kids being able to be raised in healthy environments if they've experienced trauma, to be able to heal from that trauma? So, I think, motorcycle clubs are like the perfect organizations to try to help, bring into the fold to be supportive of Team Only Stronger, Section 8, and the work that you guys do.
exactly.
Thank you so much. It just killed the stigma and the generational curse that's
Absolutely.
been around for centuries.
Yeah.
So it's, how do you want to change your lineage?
Yeah. The idea is, right, if he can talk about it or if they can talk about it, why can't I talk about it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it's so real because, you know, if you a couple years back, the thought of me talking about what had happened and even being able to smile, like to just not smile about it, but just smile and to just not be affected by it. My mindset back then would be able to would look at that like, how can you do that? How can you even smile? How can you be happy with stuff like that happened, right? And so now, like to kind of look back on that, to look back on how I felt back then, to where I'm at now, it's like, okay, it's I- I'm not there anymore, and so I'm even more kind of, you know, um, empowered to just spread this message even more to anyone that maybe it just happened to, or happened to a while ago. Maybe they're still not able to deal with it. You know, it's being able to connect with others that are willing.
And then I think you just said is like we have more people that's been reaching out because they've been silent for so many years, whether it's not them or not. It's because they s- they talk, someone dies. They talk, someone gets hurt. They talk, someone loved ones gone supposedly. You know, yeah, it's really the foundation of what you want to create really from your household. It's all about creation at the end of the day. I know I mentioned that a lot, but it's how
Yeah.
you want to create your day.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know?
mean, it basically it goes back to that. I mean, but that's empowering though, right? Very empowering because if it's about, you know, what you're trying to create, it means that we all have agency. We have the ability to be impactful.
Because we have all the resources that we can use as well. Is the point of just reaching out and using your voice. All you can
Absolutely.
get is no, then move on.
Yep. Yep. So I will just want to ask you, what advice do you give if somebody's listening to this and maybe they're going some of the things that you went through? Like, what would advice would you give somebody who was going through what you went through as a father,
Um,
or just as a parent in general?
I think the best advice that I would give, you know, and at this point, is to go be easy on yourself. You know, that the biggest thing for me was I was the worst person to myself possible for years, felt like decades, right? To the point where, you know, I was suicidal. I thought, you know, there's no pain worse than what I was feeling, than the guilt and the shame, and you know what of the thoughts of what my daughter was feeling, going through those times behind closed doors, and not having her dad wasn't there. Her dad wasn't present enough to be able to come talk to and say something about it, right? At the end of the day, she didn't tell me, she told her mom. And, you know, so I was not in the right place. And I beat myself up so much. And I kept myself from allowing to um, be okay, right? I felt like I shouldn't be allowed to be okay. I shouldn't be allowed to be happy again. I shouldn't be allowed to do this. I tried, right? I tried. My coping was I was drinking every night, trying to go out, trying to, you know, but um, I just slowly broke myself down to not doing anything. So my biggest piece of advice is um, be good to yourself. You know, don't hold on to the guilt. Try to you know, and reach out, you know, and that but that's hard again because every time I go back to who I was in those moments, I disconnected from the world. I disconnected from everybody because I didn't trust, and I felt like no one could actually truly be there for me. And so
Yeah.
if that's the case, and so now, again, looking back now, is like if I'm only gonna trust myself, then I got to be the best person to myself. And so that could have helped me a lot better in those moments to just be better to myself. But eventually I got there, and so
Yeah. Well, I said this in the first podcast. I mean, obviously, you got a supporter in my end. You know, want to,
Thank you so much.
you know, just let you all know that I really appreciate the work that you guys do and the mission of Team Only Stronger, and the fact that you guys are so willing to allow people to come into the circle. You know, because you know, I think that there's a lot of us are just kind of closed off, and we just have our own little group, and we just kind of keep it to us, right? And you guys are about really building relationships and getting out there and saying, hey, you know, come and join us. You know, you can sit with us on a Saturday morning at a Harley Davidson and be able to enjoy a good conversation, get some good blessings, and go home as a more well balanced person. Or you can come in, you know, full on, right, helping the organization grow and become stronger and become better. And I really do appreciate about, that about Section 8. And that comes through just the way that you guys talk and the way that you guys carry yourself. So I just want you guys to know that you guys are doing something right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate your side too for having us do
Thank
this.
you so much.
Yeah. I mean, this is what the 7th Generation podcast, I always tell people it's not about me. It's about the people that I want to share, the stories with. And you guys make the show just really interesting for the listeners, because trust me, going back to what you said, there's just so many people have experienced the things that you've gone through, the things that your daughter's gone through. And it's heart crushing. And what's even worse is the fact that I feel like there isn't enough to help people, to help people get through their struggles. And I just wish there was more. And I wish that we didn't have that stigma attached to it, especially just considering how widespread it is, how problematic it is.
That's correct.
Yeah. So let's kind of circle it back around to Section 8. Can we talk a little bit about your guys' colors and how they were developed, and how the name came about? I think we got a pretty good idea of that the first time around, but maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah. If Izzy wants to show his patch.
Oh yeah.
Like I said before, our founder Orlando is his brainchild. This was kind of in his son's honor, but as the name, again, it started in Section 8 housing in Hawaii, in Eva Beach. That's kind of, it was that almost that oxymoron, right? We're living in Section 8, but we're gonna do what we can to build these bikes and put these bikes together to be a symbol, be that beacon, right? Like, you can't be a lighthouse with the lights off, right? You can't be that symbol in other people's lives without speaking up, without being noticed. So I think it was really just being able to be out there and be noticed by everyone and share that message that he wanted to share with everybody, right? And in honor of his son. But I mean, the colors, like I said, there's not much to say. It's not super colorful, right? It's not the most colorful thing out there, but we try to make sure that
I think your patch is pretty dope.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's pretty dope. Yeah, I like it a lot. I really, really do. I like it.
Yeah. We definitely wanted to go with that simplistic look, but also, not to be too monotone in color. We wanted to spice it up a little bit with some of that sand in there.
Yeah.
It's more like, just really show the humble beginnings.
That's right.
Section 8, that's where all the founders came from, and we're representing Section 8, but then in a whole different approach and aspect of life now, because it doesn't matter if you didn't come from Section 8. It didn't matter if you come from the bottom of the barrel, or it's either someone did it for you and you continued it, you did it yourself, family members or whatever it is. It's all about humble beginnings of where you come from and accelerate from there, and the standards that you want to create.
Yeah. No, I mean, what I took from it, I think after listening to you guys, because I saw you guys online, I see you guys on the internet, social media, and you guys have come up on my social media feed. And then after talking with y'all, like, the name made perfect sense to me. Like, this idea of, doesn't matter where you come from. You come from the bottom, that you can come up and you can do good things with yourself and become a better person. And I was like, okay, I get this name. This makes a lot of sense. I was like, that's pretty dope.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, it's not just the demographic wise. I grew up in Section 8 housing, but what we always like to say is, even if you didn't, someone who did.
For sure.
Right. And that you can still have an impact on their life, and you can still have an impact in the community. So that's what we really try to stand by. So it's not like you have to be in Section 8 to be able to be in the club. It's more, like you said, like the meaning behind it.
Yeah. And the fact that, all of us have challenges, and all of us, we start sometimes with nothing. Maybe it's a business that you do, maybe it's a foundation that you're trying to get off the ground, and we all have to build it up. Right. And we're not just born with an empire sitting, in front of us to be able to wield all this power. For us to create something like Section 8, the motorcycle club, a lot of time and effort goes into this, to make sure that Team Only Stronger is really getting the mission accomplished. A lot of work, a lot of labor, a lot of time, a lot of effort.
That's correct. We try to make it as simple as possible, but as big as an impact that we can make.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like that. I'm gonna steal that from you. I'm gonna steal it from you, man.
It's all
Seriously, that somebody write that down.
it's all about having that positive impact on the
Yeah, we
community,
want
right?
to keep it as simple as we can, but have the biggest impact, man. Izzy, that was brilliant.
Thank you, sir.
That was brilliant. Yeah. So we have the PSR. Tell us a little bit about the PSR and your all participation in it and why people should come out.
Yeah, I mean the PSR is just a really, I mean it was great, but like the last one, the first one that we did, when all the, I think their clubs came together to kind of, like we always say, like create our own lane, right? That's why it means so much to us. It's breaking the stigmas. It's taking down those barriers on like all those misconceptions of other MCs. It's creating our own way to kind of celebrate our families and ourselves in our own way, right? Not in a way that somebody else wants us to do it. Is being able to come together and eat and laugh and talk story and be able to have our own space to be ourselves, right? And that's why I love the PSR and how it's brought everybody together to kind of not just to be individual clubs coming together, but to be a community.
Yep.
Right. So it's to become something even bigger than what we already built within ourselves. And that's, so coming out to support the PSR, the Pacific Sovereignty Run, it's an honor to be able to do that. It's an honor to be a part of it, to be a part of that movement, to run that mainland bottom rocker.
And to be proud and to be able to really take advantage of that time to move, to be able to move as one, regardless of whatever entity you're in or you're from or what you're representing. It's really what's gonna create for the future, and whatever it is mission that you guys have is how can we help? How can we assist? How can we support, regardless of what it is? At the end of the day, once we have that connection and relationship, because that's what we're building anyway, right? Great connection, great relationship is how can we do different things but move as one?
Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of, I think, this movement here, a vision from our Indigenous brothers on two wheels. But obviously, it is about community, our cultures, being able to share who we are, a piece of who we are, the different organizations that we represent and the things that we do, but coming together, right, as one, a team effort to be able to, showcase the best of our cultures. And to me, that's really a beautiful part of the PSR. I mean, we're talking about a lot of really cool aspects of this. I mean, obviously, we're going to have, a lot of cultural events and activities, but a lot of good food, right? I mean, a lot of really, really good food, some really cool vendors. And anything else that you guys want to add about the PSR?
Yeah, just highly recommend for you guys to just show up, just feel it, feel the vibes, feel the culture, feel the love, feel the respect, feel the, just whatever else that's gonna be there. It's summertime. And
it's a great way to kick off the summer,
think
right?
about it that way: summertime with motorcycles, families, and just laughs, and you see a lot of laughs and just
we talked about that last time, the
yeah.
energy, right? It's that energy when we
just
all come together. It's a different energy. It may not be what people are expecting to when they see a bunch of motorcycles pull up and a lot of people invest and a lot of leather around, right? It's not the normal way they'd like expect to feel, but it's all good times. It's light.
Everybody's approachable.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, everybody's approachable, and just whoever's listening, show up, feel the love, feel the vibe, and
it's a community event, y'all. So you don't have to be on two wheels. It's family friendly. It's free. You just come, you show up, you be able to enjoy yourself. If you see Section 8, you can walk up to anybody in Section 8 that's wearing the patch and talk to them, shake their hands, take a picture. I mean, I feel like when these events, and they're a great time for people to come out and learn a lot about the motorcycle club community. But specifically, I think ours, the events that we do, we're just very open, right? That's one thing about the two PSRs I've been to. It's just a lot of fun. I can't explain to people. I just tell them it's just a good freaking time. Like, you want to
dance with us.
Exactly. Like, man, you're going to go home with your stomach filled with all kinds of good, positive vibes. You're just going to feel good.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
appreciate you
absolutely.
Guys.
So before we go, I just want to ask, okay, you guys look like you guys are in shape, and you guys have some kind of secret to stay in shape. What's the deal, Izzy? What are you doing, man? I saw you out there, and you were working with somebody on some boxing. Are you like are you a boxing trainer?
My son is fighting in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
boxing.
he's a tournament. He has a tournament in Menifee. It's a Samoan Pride tournament.
Beautiful.
So yeah, just really just trying to keep up with my son. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying
And
to
we
keep
all
up
just
with
try
my
to keep up with
son.
Izzy.
Yeah, I try to keep up with.
You're in good shape.
Yeah.
Are you? Do you lift weights? Are you?
Yeah, I lift weights. I run a lot. Just watch my diet here and there.
He was special forces in the military. That's why. So you gotta bring that
Were
up.
you? Were you?
now, well, I was with the Air Force, got in security forces, got into the Phoenix Raven at that time, doing a lot of JSOC missions,
Okay.
and then from there, the unit became elite to just for the Ravens, and yeah, just try to stay in shape, and try to keep that deprivation out of my system, because it's very unhealthy.
That's
Unless
right.
you're fasting. No, but yeah, it's just
I
really.
knew there was something really interesting about you, man. I knew there was something
Yeah,
interesting
and,
about
and,
you.
and and of course, my boys, they're a bunch of fighters as well. Just I just if I'm not in shape, I'm gonna hear it from them.
I
Or
love it, man.
I'm not gonna be able to do some dead sprints or any type of activities with them, especially if it's fight camp. But yeah,
I love it.
just diet and just much movement. Yeah, just move.
Just got to move, man. That's
Yeah,
what
just
I
gotta
tell people
move.
all the time. Because I train jujitsu. I own a
Yes.
jujitsu facility, and so I train quite a bit. And even though I'm getting older, I'm slowing down a little bit. I always tell people you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Just got to keep going. But I'm always open to any of the secrets that anybody has. So
Ice your knees.
Don't
Take care of your body. Make sure
don't
you
get
stretch,
injured.
Ice.
don't get injured. Exactly. Yeah, good stuff, y'all.
thank you
really
so
good
much.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna let y'all close it out. Just we can go around. Just anything else that you want to add before we end the show.
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you so much for this opportunity, right? Being able to share. A lot of times like you said before, a lot of people don't like to come up to us because they get intimidated by the leather again, by the bikes or whatever we're at. But we're just, just because my face not be looked that approachable, I mean, I'm still willing to talk, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we really do push that Saturday mornings at Harley Davidson, Coronado Beach Harley Davidson. Again, anyone's welcome, right? You don't have to have, again, like you said, don't have to be on two wheels. You don't have to know somebody who knows somebody. You can just show up. We've had strangers, people in the community come upstairs and like, hey, I just wanted to check it out. And we welcome that. We think that's great.
Heck yeah.
Like the bigger we can grow, the more impact we can have, because maybe that new person's story resonates with this person. And maybe if that person never showed up, maybe they never would have got the experience that they would have gone on that particular day. So,
Yeah.
we open up to everyone. We're excited for the PSR, and we're excited to keep working with Team Only Stronger and keep grinding, right? That's what it is. It's our mission. It's our values. We do whatever we can to make sure that we fulfill those values and stay on track. We don't really let anything get in our way. So, it's just, we got to stay focused and we got to stay ready. So thanks again.
I love it.
Again, I mean, everything they say, they're real. And so, we're really looking forward to the PSR next week. My daughter's going to be coming, so she'll be there. It's going to be a really cool experience to let her know that we're all going to be there, and to know that there's people riding for her, and just to kind of help her realize, the good in the world that there is, and the impact that she's making, for being that. And I just did want to, plug again, we have that children's book that we're trying to just kind of get out there.
Yeah.
And right now we're working on a partnership with the YMCA, but our goal is to be able to get these books into child care provider homes or child care centers. And so every book that is purchased, we donate a book to that cause. And so the book is called Warrior Princess Bunny. You can look that up on
Warrior
Amazon.
Princess Bunny.
Yeah, it's my daughter's favorite animal.
love it.
Bunny. So
I love
yeah.
it. I love it.
As far as for me, it's create what's gonna make the big impact for your purpose and with your purpose. Just don't waste time. Don't waste time, and just be around people that will uplift you and empower you, and definitely create that space of trust to be able to find authenticity within yourself at least. And
Absolutely.
and as far as that's it. I'm thankful, I'm blessed, um fortunate to be involved and be part of everything that I'm involved now. And You know, at the end of the day, God is great, and that's about it.
I love it. And I'm fortunate to have the chance to sit down with y'all for a second time. And I don't know, maybe a year from now we can do it again. If you guys are interested,
Anytime.
Yeah,
interested
let
in
us
coming
know.
back to the show,
Definitely.
like maybe, a year from now, we can kind of see where you guys are at. Obviously, anything that you want me to promote on the show in the future, you guys can shoot it to me. If you want to reach out to Section 8, make sure that you follow them on Instagram. Do you guys do Facebook as well?
No, just Instagram as of right now.
Okay.
We're working on building up our website. But on Instagram it's Section 8 MC _ SoCal. So
Yeah. So check them out on Instagram, follow them. You can see what they're up to. And then obviously, if there's anything that you want to talk about with the organization, message them.
Absolutely.
Yes, we don't judge. Hit us up.
Absolutely. 100%. All right, you all. Anything else that we want to talk about here?
Yeah, just the link where
Yeah,
you can find the
you
link.
can find us on www.onlystronger.org or
Absolutely.
on Instagram at @IM_onlystronger.
Okay, and we'll make sure that when we release this, we'll put that in the show notes as well. That way that, people who are listening to the show, they'll have links to the Instagram and to the website, to both Instagrams. Yeah, and the website. Absolutely. Well, you all, this has been fantastic. Like I said, I've learned so much and I appreciate the work that you do. Much love and respect to Section 8, Team Only Stronger.
Likewise, sir. Thank you.
All right, y'all. This is Dr. B, and that concludes our sit down with Section 8. You can meet them if you come out 6 days from now, the Pacific Sovereignty Run. This is Saturday, June 17th, the Elks Lodge, 7212 Melrose Street, Winter Park, California. The event starts at 12 noon, goes to 5 p.m. There will be a bike blessing at 11 a.m. So if you want your bike blessed, come out for that. It's open to the public at 12 noon. Again, this is 7th Generation Podcast. Great sit down with Section 8 and Team Only Stronger. And we're going to do it again sometime in the future, gentlemen. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.